Greetings, giving thanks, all praise and respect and honor is due unto His Majesty King Selassie, the first, the Creator, the Savior, for all to acknowledge in this time. Hey, He has appeared for all to see, but those have chosen to ignore. I'm not here to condemn, I'm only here to save, and I'm telling you some good stuff. So the Babylonian Man game is to discourage us, people, from speaking truth. Babylonian Man sets up all these, props up all these individuals, act as dissenters, pull people away. You know, they build walls so that others turn back towards the Babylonian Man for the answer. Because of course you can't see through a wall, so you'll have only one other way to go. Capital incentives are used, obviously. The people that are in those positions of confusion, playing mix-up, have been trained, have been taught that they're in the right, that everyone else is in the wrong, they're liars. Not everyone, but if you don't worship and serve the beast, you're in the wrong. You know, the problem is not technology, it's not taxes, it's how those forces are allocated, what they're being used for. If you collect a bunch of taxes and you put it in your budget and then you use it to spy on people so that you know where the problems are, so that you never get beyond this caste-based system, based on supremacy, the beliefs that certain individuals have more God-given powers than others. You always come back to the same thing. You have war. The Babylonian Man speaks about peace and implements his device on the basis that it's going to bring security and safety. Well, look at the score on the board. The truth is that there's no security and there's no safety, and that plays right back into the Babylonian Man's hands, because all he has to do is get up and say, oh, I'm gonna protect you. There's a bunch of chaos and there's people out there and they're coming in to rob you and they're gonna kill you and rape you, and hey, it might be happening, but you have to know where the root of the problem lies. And it lies in the system that's designed by those at the top of the tower. Same individuals over centuries that have controlled. Now they've got people underneath them that want to be in positions of power too, and they're providing it because they form that medium floor or barrier so that the rulers or the divisive classes continue to thrive and prosper. They have to get more and more because what used to satisfy them before no longer does. You know, technology is put into place, you know, to save us from the Taliban, and the Taliban's land has to be taken to pay for it. So the Babylonian Man seeks to discourage us, truth providers. And it's being done all different kinds of ways. Obviously, laws of attraction. He props himself up, he puts on a tie, he combs his hair, he speaks real professional, and he does the right moves and makes the, you know, these are actors. They're not out for the masses of humans' interest. They solely see things in terms of themselves and what they can get. You know, the discouragement goes so far as the Babylonian Man will say things like, oh, we want more, or go ahead and keep talking, you know, this kind of thing. Yeah, of course the Babylonian Man looks to use anything he can against you. And yet, if we are doing what we know is right, then what other choice do we have other than to do wrong and to suffer the consequences of our Creator, which are far more severe than that of man's? Man may put you through torture. He may imprison you for life. He may take your body, yet he does not have power to take your soul. Only the Creator has that power. What the Babylonian man fears now is that his servants, those that form the oppressive militia and barrier of visibility between himself and the masses of people at the bottom, which could possibly have an uprising, that those individuals may be touched by the message of the truth giver. And so automatically he has to place the perception in their minds that you have to say is of no significance. And now he can do so by just blocking you from view. Of course, that only goes so far when you can go out on the street and get into a crowd of individuals and speak your mind. But of course, with this platform being privatized, as everything is becoming in this capital-based economy, this can be shut down or put out of view. That should be no secret, although most people aren't aware of this reality and the effects thereof. We are what we eat, some people say, and if we are digesting this information, this constant flood of symbols and pictures and words, we will be influenced based on that. Maybe it's subliminal, maybe where people are aware that they're being deceived and just enjoy it, but it's happening. And like Mark Zuckerberg said, it's pretty crazy stuff. The Babylonian man seeks to stay one step ahead, as we've discussed. One of his greatest fears is that you will come out with the information before him. So I don't find it a coincidence when I began to start to report on some of these things I see in here, and I know I'm not alone. Although maybe some people may be late in the game, people start to examine the situation, make assessments for themselves, and sometimes contrary to what the mainstream media, although that word now is becoming played out. I don't even want to use it anymore. But the mainstream sorcerers are producing. And when it begins to click, the Babylonian man has no choice, but they got to come out and begin to speak about this and put it into context that suit their own agenda. Of course, an obvious example is 9/11 went down, and as soon as it went down, the Patriot Act, all the bills were installed, which enabled the plundering and looting of other regions to contain the fossils, to continue to produce the man-beast. Artificial intelligence, a sure shield against an invasion of hungry, angry people. And as others may word it, the architect of oppression. So everything is moving in one direction. But the Babylonian man takes all the energy he can and puts it into these devices so he can come out with his ultimate plan. When he sits behind the closed doors and discusses with his colleagues, you know, where they want to be, they're most interested in their own security. They want to preserve what they have and to gain more. So, that is the priority. That is what oppression means, to gain at the expense of others. And so we are dealing with an oppressive class. They see themselves as entitled to what they have. They think that, you know, this is in God's plan, although God is Satan to them. And so therefore they are justified in oppressing others. But be not dismayed if you do what is right. Although the Babylonian man might threaten, put you in jail, to take your body, to torture you, he cannot take your soul. And only the Creator and his loyal servant, Jah Rastafari, has power, giving thanks, strength.